Hello there YouTube, Devin here again. Sorry I haven't made a video in a long time, but I got some extra time today. We'll start this video off by saying happy birthday America, good job on 241. It's been a pretty long day. I had to work today, so that was pretty god-awful, but now we got this here for you. Now this is a remake video because I found a nicer version of this helmet, and I got some more background information on it and everything like that. I actually did some more research into these because I recently had someone over to my apartment here, and they got very, very upset at all of my Stahlhelms because they thought they were all Nazi helmets, when actually I only own 2 Stahlhelms that were actually made for the Nazis. I have one SS M40 Stahlhelm, and I have one, if you can count it as a Nazi helmet, M37 late war modified to an M38 Fallschirmjäger helmet. But I actually own a lot of Stahlhelms because a lot of countries use the Stahlhelm, and this is one of the ones that they were upset about because this one was actually at the top of the stack that I had. But this isn't actually a Stahlhelm, for all you guys that know, a Nazi Stahlhelm anyways. This is a Finnish M40-55 Stahlhelm. It's almost identical to the German M40 for a couple little things and different changes, and we'll get into that here. But we got to get into some of the backstory of this helmet because if you've been following my channel for a while, I don't like to just review the helmets. I like to review the history. All right, helmets are a very, very integral part of history, and you could see the development of military history through every country through their helmets and their styles and their designs and everything like that. Finland at the time was pretty much using one of the best designs until Kevlar came out, really, is the German Stahlhelm design, which Germany got right kind of in 1916, and they ran with it up until I think the very last Stahlhelms came out of use in the 90s. So, but this one is the Finnish M40-55, and it was made as a replacement for the mass conglomeration of helmets the Finnish army was using during the Winter War. So during the Winter War, I don't know if you know anything about the Winter War, but I'm going to explain it like I'm talking to somebody who doesn't know anything. So bear with me, or you could skip ahead a minute or two if you know all the background as to what they were using. But when the Winter War happened, all right, so this is after Poland was invaded by Germany and Russia. I mean, well, at the time, the Soviet Union. And that freed up a section that now that the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact had been signed, and Stalin thought that he was going to be safe from Germany for a little while, that freed up some soldiers to try to push the border with Finland back, because one of Russia's main industrial cities, not the capital anymore, but one of its largest, most industrialized cities was St. Petersburg, or at the time Leningrad. And the Finnish border was very, very close to Leningrad. And this region known as Karelia, which is an isthmus, which is between a lake and the Gulf of Finland, pretty much this little strip of land, was the main huge dispute. And so at first Russia tried to purchase it with offers of trades of land further north to push the border back some miles to give more of a buffer to St. Petersburg. And Finland refused, and more and more deals were struck, and Finland refused all of them. And then eventually the Soviet Union just decided to invade Finland. In 1939, in what we know as the Winter War, and later that turned into the Continuation War. And during the Winter War, Finland, in the early parts, for the most part, was using leftover helmets from World War I, so Solbergs. They were using a conglomeration of Swedish helmets, Italian helmets, Czech helmets, just really old surplus from every other nation, pretty much. They had a big mass conglomeration. They had captured Russian helmets, everything like that, but then during the Winter War, Germany saw an option in this now that Finland was under attack by the Soviet Union, and Russia, and Germany saw an opportunity here because they were planning to attack the Soviet Union, and so they figured if they can help keep the Russian soldiers that are fighting in Finland right now, in Finland, that will be less soldiers on the Eastern Front when Germany invades. So Germany started sending aid to Finland in the form of raw materials, weapons, ammo. They sent a whole bunch of helmet presses, so M40 helmet presses, and raw steel to make helmets. Now, these helmets do differ from the German ones quite a lot, actually, if you know anything about the Stahlhelm. There's tons and tons and tons of stuff about Stahlhelms out there that people have written that can tell you what every little mark is and everything like that, but I'm going to give you a general overview of some of the ways to spot the differences between a Finnish M40 and a German M40. All right, first of all, we have to get into that the M40 is the collector's name, all right? There was no such thing as the M40 in actual military terms in the Wehrmacht and the SS and everything in Germany during World War II. It was still called the M35. Right? The only difference between the M40 and the M35 was these little air vents were separate pieces on the M35, whereas they're just part of the shell on the M40. All right? And the only difference between an M40 and an M42 is the edge isn't rolled. So they're all pretty much the same helmet. Okay? Except for some minor, really aesthetic differences. They didn't really change quality. There is some belief that there is, I'm a firm believer in them because I've seen a few, and there's some documented cases of the M45 Stahlhelm, which is essentially an M42 without any air vents, okay? That's something that was probably out there. It's probably I don't know if it was supposed to be that way or if it was just something that was formally adopted, or it's just they were trying to crank them out as fast as possible, but it is something that exists, and you can find examples of it. How these helmets, the Finnish M40s, differ from the German M40s, other than the liner, all right, obviously on the shell, is the rivets. We'll start with the rivets. They use, as you can see here, a smaller rivet with a washer, and on the inside, it's directly attached. So it's riveted in place. These don't come off, okay? Whereas in the German ones, here, I'll throw up this helmet here. This isn't a World War II German Stahlhelm. This is a West German Stahlhelm. But as you can see here, they have this big split rivet. And it goes through, and then goes through the helmet shell, and then through the liner, and then there's a washer with 2 slits in it, all right? And then you would fold the split pins over on the inside, and that's what held in the liner. Whereas these were riveted directly to the liner, all right? Another thing you notice is there's no hole right here like there is on the Finnish ones, okay? Now the Finnish ones is because the chin strap wasn't part of the liner in the Finnish ones, all right? Initially, the chin strap would have been riveted right here, separate, with a different rivet. So the chin strap was connected to the shell with its own rivets, and the liner was connected to the shell with 3 rivets. The chin strap is connected with 2, one on either side here, and the rivets for the liner were held on at each temple and one in the rear, all right? Whereas the Germans, their chin strap and their liner were all held in with 3 split pins and washers, all right? It was all one contained unit for easy drop in and drop out for changing. But the Finnish didn't. Finnish military didn't believe in that. All right, they wanted something a little bit more durable, a little bit something more rigid, so they went this route. And that's the easiest way from the outside to spot a Finnish M40 from a German M40 is the presence of this little hole, right? And this type of 2-piece rivets. All right. Now the liner, all right, as you can tell, we'll take a look at here, is a very kind of a thick liner. It's kind of a suede type liner as well. It's something that the Finns were very big on. You often see them in kind of these brighter colors, these whites or like a cream color or like a very light tan. And it's a very, very supple leather, all right? They're all usually stamped right about here in the rear somewhere with the size in kind of a bluish black ink. As you can see, it's a very kind of supple suede. And I'll see if I can lift it up and show you the rivets there. So there's the rivets. It has a nice kind of foam rubberized insert. It has the perforated sweatband area. The easiest way to tell the Finnish liners from the German liners, all right, is the German liners have a whole bunch of like relief cuts in the tongues on their liners, whereas the Finns didn't do that. So It's like that in my West German Stahlhelm. As you can see, my West German Stahlhelm. You can tell it's a West German because it, there it says, there's the tag that says made in West Germany. But this helmet has those relief cuts for better breathability in the tongues, whereas the Finns did not do that. So both these helmets are the same size. Excuse me there for that cough. They are a size 66 shell. As you see, the Finnish use a very, very thick, robust black leather chin strap as well. Very, very dense, very, very thick, very, very heavy. It has a very long break-in time. It's never going to wear out. It's usually a suede on the back, and it's a polished, kind of smooth on the outside. The Germans tended to stick with a more browner leather usually, and you usually see the German ones, they're held in place with keyhole and stud type sockets through D-rings right here that hang off of the liner, whereas the Finns tended to place theirs way farther up. And it's directly attached. So I'm not going to try to pull this apart because it's aluminum and it's very, very hard to bend. And I don't want to bend it anyways because this helmet is in immaculate condition, as you can tell. It's pretty much unused, no dents in it or anything. There's a couple storage scuffs on it. Hopefully you guys like this video. Sorry for the big history lesson at the front, but I'd like to tell you how these helmets came about and some of the defining features of them and stuff like that. A lot of people try to pass these off as actual German M40 Stahlhelms, because if you know anything, German Stahlhelms sell for a shit ton of money, whereas these Finnish ones can be had for $50-$60 if you're willing to look around. So somebody could be trying to very easily pass one of these off for a actual German Stahlhelm for $600-$700 plus, when it's actually the less desirable Finnish model. So if you guys are looking for this, for any of these original German Stahlhelms online, make sure you use this to your advantage, the information I'm giving you. So I'll give you a once around on the helmet here. Hopefully you guys like this video. Again, I'm sorry I haven't put anything out in a long time. But hopefully you guys like this video, and you subscribe if you like this sort of thing. Probably going to do another video today on that West German Stahlhelm, and maybe a few other things, just to keep you guys some stuff to watch, because I'm probably going to be busy with work here in the very near future again. So until it kind of dies down again around January, it's only going to get worse. So thank you all so much for watching. Please leave any comments, questions, or additions in the comments, and I will do my best to answer them as quickly as I can. Please treat each other nice in the comments. I had a couple people get into it about Israel in one of my older videos the other day, and I'd very much not like to see that. I want you guys to respect each other. This is a place of learning here, and hopefully I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.